Today I'm going to be talking about how my medieval kit influences my modern everyday carry. Stay tuned. Notice that my clothing has changed slightly, but honestly not all of that much. And again, the point of this video isn't to show how you can wear modern clothing and look medieval. That's not the point. The idea is that you can take medieval philosophy and then apply it to your modern day wear, which is exactly what I'm doing here. So when I'm wearing my gambeson, whoa, how did that happen? It's mostly just the gambeson. I have my underlayer shirt and then I have my pants. And other than that, I have very little else on me. I do have my pouch that I can carry coin and keys. Medieval everyday carry, they didn't have a whole lot. It was just that. I have my belt knife and I have my sax knife for if I need a larger tool for working or for self-defense. And then that's essentially it. It's just these items, and depending on how things change, I might add or remove things because of the weather, but that's essentially it. Very practical, very practical. So today we're analyzing how that medieval practicality transfers in how I wear my modern garments. So cloth types are something that I am heavily influenced by. So I do wear the linen shirt even in the modern day, and I got this linen shirt specifically because I can wear it both for a part of my medieval kit and wear it as part of my modern wear, and I have pants for that as well that we'll talk about in a second. And the reason for that is versatility. Versatility saves me money. I don't have to have a separate shirt for just costume and a separate shirt for modern day. I can just wear my shirts for both because they carry over, and versatility equals saving me money. And saving me money is always important, but versatility and practicality of garments was certainly something that would have been used not just in medieval history, but like throughout history. If you were trying to conserve resources, which is very important, that is something that you would do. So it's a mindset that I carry with me. So this is my jacket. This is my favorite jacket. This is the jacket that I wear most of the time. And that is simply because I like the way it looks. It's not medieval by any means, but it provides the same amount of anachronistic aesthetic that I sort of like to go for, and it's very practical as well. I also like this jacket a lot because if you look at the cut of it, it actually sort of looks semi-similar to a modern version of the sort of frock coats that our founding fathers wore. Again, not medieval. We are living anachronism, but American history. Certainly an epic time period. Happy Independence Day. Happy Independence Day. So we'll notice now, as we're talking about the comparison between medieval everyday carry and modern everyday carry, that I now no longer have a pouch, which is very sad because I actually think pouches are way better than pockets. But I have replaced that pouch with a whole bunch of pockets. So I have the pockets in my pants, and I have 4 pockets on this jacket as well. Very smart, very smart. And now if I were to choose, because I did want to add that little bit of extra medieval aesthetic, I could wear my Viking hood over this, and I often have. And you'd be surprised how many compliments you get on that. I was surprised by how many compliments. People were like, whoa, where'd you get that? You should sell them. And I was like, I only have the one. But thank you. And so we're choosing items that we know will be practical and that we know will be able to carry themselves efficiently and not hinder us as we're going on our adventures, even if our adventures happen to be modern. And that's why I have chosen the pants that I've chosen. I could go for maybe military or cargo pants with more pockets. That would always be good. More pockets is always good, but these ones provide an excellent amount of stretch for me. And I like the, so they're jogger chinos. So they look nice, but they do provide a certain amount of utility. In that I can roll up the pant legs very easily. They have the nice silhouette that reminds me of medieval pants, and I always opt for my leather boots as well. You will almost never see me wearing sneakers, even on a super hot day like today, which is why I'm filming inside, but you will almost never see me wearing sneakers, and that is because leather boots are epic and they remind me of the time period that I like to emulate, so even when I'm wearing modern clothes, I still get a little bit of that feeling. And so I know that I said that I don't carry around pouches with me, but if I happen to be going for a day trip or a hike where I'm not going to be in my medieval kit, and I do need some sort of bag or tote, I do carry this modern sort of tactical, I think it's technically a fanny pack, but I always wear it over my chest or over my back, and I can stick my water bottle in the front there. So very practical. It's got a ton of pouches on it. And I also carry this smaller canvas bag, smaller than my larger canvas backpack, and this one isn't waxed, so it's not waterproof, but I carry this, and this is what I had all throughout my trip when I was studying abroad in London. And then recently when I came back, I started actually attaching my leather pouches to the front here to use it as a bandolier. And then of course I do have my modern canvas backpack. I mean, you know, it is obviously modern, but you know, it sort of fulfills the purpose of looking vaguely medieval, which is why I got it, because I wanted to, you know, again, versatility, being able to use something for my own personal reenactment and then also be able to use it in the modern day to save a little bit of money, because I don't know about you, I personally won't be putting my laptop into a basket backpack, so you know, I have this. And so again, we'll see that my everyday carry for modern wear changes very little in the items that I carry. I still have my wallet, that's my coin, I have my keys to my house, and that's essentially it. I mean, phone is modern, there's no really comparable thing for that medieval, but I also have my knives with me as well. I always carry two on me. I have this is a Benchmade knife. This I use for just everyday sort of toolage, because I'm not really that concerned about banging it up too much. I can always resharpen it. It doesn't need to maintain a super sharp edge. And then I also have my much smaller, I call this the get off me knife. And so this is the very small knife that I carry for self-defense. And it was inspired by, again, the clinch pick, as I have talked about on this channel, as I saw on the Warrior Poet Society. I wear mine upside down so that when I draw it, the blade is facing me, much like a sax knife of old. And I have talked about my theory about how that functions for self-defense. So my medieval to modern EDC is also not just what it is that I'm physically wearing or carrying, but also the mindset that I take with me. That adventurous ranger mindset is super helpful I just have that all of the time. It's part of who I am. And it's probably partly in reverse why I enjoy like Lord of the Rings reenactment so much, is because that is what allows me to be what it is that I already am to my fullest extent. And it's great for improving self-confidence, self-esteem, because, you know, if you're like me and you're starting to learn more about bushcraft, like that's not just for if you happen to be camping and wearing a tunic at the same time, that's all the time. You're literally learning to be a more self-sufficient, more independent person. And Bjorn Andreas Bull Hansen does a really good job of this. He is a person that I greatly look up to. You can check out his channel up here. But he's a man that I greatly admire, and he does a fantastic job of bridging his Viking reenactment with his real life persona. And he talks an awful lot, you know, mostly to guy audiences, about the importance of being a self-sufficient man, of being a better man, stoicism, and all that sort of stuff. So perhaps those are ideals that we are ascribing to a particular time period. I think at a certain point, with the ends being that we are using the lessons of the past to become better people, it's a little bit irrelevant whether or not our ideals of honor that we are ascribing to a particular time period actually existed in that time period. Because if I'm able to take perhaps my romanticized version of what it was to be, you know, a ranger or a knight or whatever, or a Viking from that time period, and I'm able to use that to better myself, then I think the means justifies the ends at that point. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you agree with that. And so it's really cool to, you know, be studying medieval European history, which is, you know, what I'm really interested in, and you're learning about HEMA and sword techniques and you know, how to defend yourself, you know, against maybe a stray orc or a bandit or something like that. But then it's really important, I think, at least for me, to then take the next step and go, okay, I'm an adventurer in a world that doesn't exist, but I'm also an adventurer in a reality that does. So it's very important to know how to defend myself here in real life as well, whether that be through martial arts or owning whatever variety of legal weapons that you have at your disposal. Not that you're trying to go out to fight someone again, but that you are prepared, because the world is a dangerous place, and just because we have technology now in flushing toilets doesn't mean that it isn't anymore. But that is simply to say that you are prepared. You're taking that mindset, you're taking that medieval mindset, you're taking the ranger mindset. You never know when trouble might happen, but you're prepared for it, and you're mentally prepared for it. As students of history, we're not just learning about history, but we're also learning from history, and we're taking those lessons that our ancestors learned and died to learn and applying them to ourselves here in the modern day, so that we are better equipped to live and provide for ourselves and protect ourselves. And speaking of protecting ourselves, we of course all know that there's a large debate on the best sort of style of sword that an adventurer would want to carry for self-defense. And then we also know that people in the medieval period probably would have just carried big knives. But we can't necessarily carry the size knife that we would like to carry, and we certainly can't carry swords around with us, again, unless we're living in a state that allows us to do that. And if you're not living in the United States of America, you might not even be able to carry a knife around. So I'm really talking to the Americans, I guess, at this point. But we're living in a country that theoretically still has a Second Amendment at the moment. Take that as your sword. That is the great equalizer right there. That is, you know, we're talking about Rangers, can't carry a bow, but you can carry your firearm of choice. That is certainly a way that medieval history has influenced my modern everyday carry. And you look at, like, I'm very grateful to live in a country that recognizes that civilians have the individual right to self-preservation. Like, if you look at medieval laws from back in the day where people weren't even allowed to, like, own swords to protect themselves at a certain point. And that's medieval Japanese history as well, not just European, where the peasant class were literally, like, not allowed to own weapons to defend themselves with. And then you go to Germany where, like, you could own a knife-shaped sword, but you could not own a actual sword. And you're like, well, that's a little ridiculous. Like, what is, like, aside from the way the handle is constructed and maybe the blade shape, what is the physical difference between a sword and a messer of comparable size? And you think that that's ridiculous, and then you realize that we're still having that debate today with various forms of self-defense. So, you know, things are crazy throughout history, no matter what time period you're looking at. And it's important to learn from them and know that and remember it, which is what we do, or at least what I do. And you should do it too. All right, so thanks for watching the video today, guys. Really hope you enjoyed and hope that something here was insightful. Some sort of new mindset might have been opened up for you, or maybe I'm just preaching to the choir and this is stuff that everybody already does. But thank you for watching the video. I'll be back again next week with another one. To my fellow Americans, happy Independence Day. And whether your adventures be modern or medieval, good luck on your adventures.